Keenan Allen is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. Tom Telesco knows this and pays him the 10th most out of any wide receiver in the NFL. And he has no problem doing that. He said that it's not tempting to trade him because good players make a lot of money. So why are there questions about Keenan Allen's future with the Chargers? Well, it all revolves around the cap. A lot of people say that the cap is not real because of teams like the Saints being able to manipulate it so well, but I say that's cap. Just look at the Saints now. They kept pushing back all their cap issues and now they are suffering the consequences. So the Chargers need to become cap compliant. Right now, they're about 20 million over the cap, and they got some big contracts coming up like Drew Tranquill, and oh yeah, extending Justin freaking Herbert. The easiest way to do that is by either cutting or trading Keenan Allen, who is still a really good wide receiver. Keenan Allen has a 21.7 million cap hit next season, which is almost 10% of the total cap space for the Chargers. If he is not on the roster next year, that would take off around 15 million, which would almost certainly lead to cutting Matt Filer to relieve another 6.5 million, and then that gets you under the cap instantly in only 2 moves. And by the way, cutting Matt Filer is like the easiest move this entire offseason. You cut him, you put Jamari Sawyer in there at left guard, and so now you have a better offensive line, younger, and it costs you less money. That's called a win-win-win. But trading Keenan Allen or even cutting him is not an easy decision at all. He is the 10th highest paid receiver, but he's the 11th highest rated receiver by PFF. So the value is still there in that contract. But you also have Mike Williams, who is the 14th highest paid wide receiver, but ranked as the 24th best wide receiver by PFF. So the value is not as good for him, especially considering that just those 2 wide receivers alone account for about 18% of the total cap hit for the Chargers next season, which is fine if you have a quarterback on a rookie deal like the Chargers do right now. But like I said, Justin Herbert is about to get paid, and you cannot have 2 wide receivers making $20 million a year when your quarterback is making like $50 million a year. That's going to take up way too much cap space with just 3 players. It's going to hamstring the money that you can allocate to your defense. Your defense is going to be, I mean, like non-existent. You're not going to have any good players on your defense because you can't pay them. Now, I don't think they cut Keenan Allen because he is way too valuable of a wide receiver to just cut and get nothing out of. But I do think it is possible that they trade him this offseason, which I do not want to happen. But since it is possible, what would we even get out of a trade? Now, let's remember this. Amari Cooper was basically traded for only a 5th round pick, but then just recently Chase Claypool was traded for a 2nd round pick. He's a much younger receiver, and I think Keenan Allen would actually probably fall on the lower end of that value spectrum right there. He'd probably only net us about a 4th round pick, and you know, I wouldn't be comfortable only receiving a 4th round pick because the value that Keenan Allen has for this next season is the same value of a $20 million receiver. Let's get another year out of him at least, and then we can talk about next offseason possibly trading him or even just flat out cutting him if the cap situation is that dire. So, okay, let's say we're not trading or cutting Keenan Allen this offseason. So how do we get under the cap? Well, you can restructure some contracts like Joey Bosa, Corey Linsley, Khalil Mack. I mean, Khalil Mack's contract is just screaming restructure. He's on a 2-year, $46 million contract right now that you could easily turn into 4 or 5 more years with some flexibility right there. Well, why not restructure Keenan Allen's contract? I hear you yelling at me as you like and subscribe to this video, hopefully. Thank you. Well, it's not that simple. You can't really restructure Keenan's contract because he's making more money next year, so it wouldn't make sense to offload that money this year to pay him way more next year, and you can't add years onto this because then it just takes away the flexibility of the contract. I mean, let's all remember, this is a 31-year-old wide receiver who I think is still, he's going to be playing well next year, but then, you know, the year after that, and then maybe even after that, if you're trying to restructure this contract, it just gets iffy there. You lose a lot of flexibility, and you want to have those ripcords in a contract for an aging receiver. Obviously, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with this, I want to see Keenan Allen retire and stay as a Charger for his entire career. And, you know, just the way that all of this money is set up, the way Tom Telesco's bank account is set up, you can only pay so many good players so much money until you're just hamstringing your team with just these few guys that are elite players, and then the rest that are on just like the minimum wage contract that the NFL allows, and it hurts your team in total. Because the Chargers, they also have a lot of free agents that they want to re-sign this year. I mean, guys like Kyle Van Noy, Bryce Callahan, Morgan Fox, Drew Tranquill, Braden Fehoko, Cameron Dicker, the kicker, Donald Parham, Trey Pipkins, Jalen Guyton, Nasir Adderley. All of these guys are free agents this year. And I'm looking at this list, I'm thinking you want to bring back about half of these guys. And right now we are 20 million over the cap. So something has to happen. But that something doesn't have to be trading Keenan Allen. I don't think that is the right move to make. But it makes a lot of sense, and it would not surprise me if Tom Telesco does trade Keenan Allen for like a 4th round pick. Let me know what you guys would do. I know a lot of you guys are going to dislike this video just because I'm even entertaining the thought of trading Keenan Allen, and we're all so emotionally attached to him. But there are positives and negatives each way. Me personally, I'm not trading Keenan Allen. Are you kidding me? I'm not trading Keenan Allen. In my opinion, that value is still there. So he's staying on my team. But as always, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. It helps me out so much. And I will see you guys next time.